Gabriel sighed. He'd only just gotten here, and he was already in an altercation. At least this one was not his fault. He sighed again, his speaker offline so no one could hear him. It didn't matter. All he needed to do was get to his lodgings. As he weaved through the crowd, he took note of how easy it was to move. Minigorod had 25% less gravity than Earth, and he could tell. He doubted that carrying his luggage would have made any difference, but the service here was excellent, and it had all been sent to his apartment ahead of schedule. He received a few looks from passers-by. Gabriel felt it was either the suit or his size, both of which were understandable. Everyone seemed to have enough courtesy to assume he was fine, though, rather than stick their noses, or nose equivalents, in his face. Gabriel glanced at his PDA. Most people had a VI installed, but Gabriel felt it was creepy to have your electronics speak to you. Also, it did not sit well with him on a moral level. He knew logically that it was not sapient or alive, but Gabriel felt it was a slippery slope. His maps told him he was just a few minutes away. At this rate, he would have just enough time for a quick shower, a drink and some stretches. He needed to get to orientation by noon. Then, he'd be free to explore the entire planet, and have a year to do it. Gabriel had been planning this for quite some time. Years of saving, planning, pulling in a few favours. He had not gone cheap either. He had a penthouse in one of the best residential towers in the city. Usually it would have set him back hundreds of thousands, but Death Warders were not ordinary visitors. By galactic law, the planet needed to provide accommodation on par with habitable worlders, which meant a penthouse that went for chump change. That little fact meant he could afford an entire year here, and he was going to make the most of it. Gabriel found the building, an impressive, elegant structure composed of transparent aluminium and carbon nanotubes. The lobby was large and elegantly furnished, as a few individuals reclined on couches, seats, and giant cushions, either waiting for family and friends or thinking about where they would go next. A clerk stood at an elegantly curved wooden desk. Gabriel approached them, a large octopodal bat-like creature. They had eyes, though small and beady, like small obsidian pebbles. They stood far larger than Gabriel, and he felt he must look ridiculous standing before the large desk. The alien did not notice him. They were busy working at their computer. "Excuse me," said Gabriel. The alien looked up. Their small eyes searched for where the song-like voice had come from. "Down here," Gabriel said. As they peered over the desk, Gabriel saw a lanyard dangling from their neck. There were two forms of writing upon it. One they assumed was in their native tongue. The other was in Basic. "Pleasure to meet you, a shrub. My name is Gabriel Rattlew. I have a reservation," he explained, noticing the surprised look on their face when they realized that Gabriel was not a lost child. "My apologies," the alien stated, typing what Gabriel supposed was their name in the machine. "Ah yes, here you are, Mr. Gabriel Rattlew, staying with us for over 1 year, and you are in the penthouse." Shop went silent as she read the words. She quickly glanced at the tiny lifeform, then double-checked the results. They came up precisely the same, and she decided it was best to check with the guest before bumping it up the chain of command. "It says here that you are in the Excelsior suite. Is that correct?" Shop asked. "Is that the suite custom built for Death Warders?" asked Gabriel. "That is correct, sir," Shop replied. "Then yes, that is my suite," Gabriel said dryly. Shop saw no problem with this. The guest had been informed, and while they looked far too delicate to be a Death Warder, she was well aware that looks could be deceiving. The standard procedure was to give the guests their key and let them be on their way, but Shop has always wanted to see the inside of the Excelsior suite, and this was her opportunity. "If you will follow me, sir, I will guide you to your room," Shop said, picking up a keycard from a secure box and exiting the reception area. Gabriel followed Shop and was mesmerized by the complex way they moved. It was like watching a conveyor belt loop around on itself. It was hypnotic in a way. Shop led him into a vast glass lift. Fortunately, there was a large touchpad that stretched from ceiling to floor. All one needed was to tap the screen once, and the interface would conform to your height. "Would you like me to do it for you, sir?" asked Shop. "No, thank you. I best get used to it now," stated Gabriel. "Very well. We will need to be on floor 110, Shop explained. Gabriel pressed the button, and the lift lurched. His stomach was filled with a strange sense of vertigo. Gabriel had never been comfortable with lifts, not scared exactly. He just did not like the feeling he got whenever he was in one. Fortunately, he was not so consumed by the sensation that he forgot to look out at the city. It was breathtaking. The architecture blended the synthetic and the organic. Vast apartment blocks, studded with trees. Flying animals soared through the city while buses and trains ferried people to and fro. There was no dull concrete or ugly steel here, no. The area had been built with form as well as function in mind. Gabriel saw people dining in restaurants, playing in parks, and off in the distance was Minigarad Zoo, a zoological and botanical park the size of London, containing thousands of species from all over the galaxy. "Welcome to Minigarad, Mr. Ratlu," Shub said, with a warm expression on her face.